Hey everybody, exciting news. The new Supercheap Auto TV commercial it's featuring this Hilux is out right now. Click on that. Check out my mullet. Check out me and Martin robbing a bank. And now come back and watch us try and fix this car. This will be the last episode required to actually get this car running and driving again. We're going to be doing a road tune. What does that require? You will find out soon. I got my mate Iain here again. G'day Iain, thank you for coming back. Martin is still away for a few more days. He'll be back soon. What are we doing today? Well, we've got to do the whole front end. We've got to do suspension. We've got to do all the steering junk. We've got to rebuild the brakes. We've got to do the engine mounts. We've got to do, there's actually a lot to do. So let's run the graphics and then let's fix this Hilux. Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods. We've got a big day today, plus more special guests. We've got Iain here, Benny's going to be coming down as well. Down here, this is old steering junk. We're going to be replacing all of that old steering junk with new steering good stuff. So we've got replacements for almost everything. We've got all of our white line gear to try and make it feel not sloppy and not falling apart, which is going to be great. We've got our shocks to go in. ACS has also sent us down the clutch actuation and hardware. This is basically a clutch master cylinder because the old one is in a dire state. So that one there is going to go in the bin, replaced with this one. This is our air filter that goes on top of the carby, which Isaac has rebuilt. We've got some engine mounts to go in as well. Once all of that stuff is done, then we can move on to the rear brakes, which have just been an absolute nightmare because the car, no, it doesn't have two different braking systems in it. It has three. There are the front calipers, which one of them is seized and they need to be completely rebuilt. And then there is the passenger side, which is from one kind of Hilux. And then there is the driver's side, which is from a different kind of Hilux. Now, we did get a quote. Come with me, I'll show you. We got a quote to try and match this side here to the other side because they are different. We cannot just get this. We were quoted to get the whole thing. That was going to cost about $1,600 plus shipping. So instead, what we've done, and look, we're doing what we can with what we have. We have bought everything we need to replace this side, and then separate to that, everything to replace the other side. So if you come over here, I know, this is the wild kind of games we got to play when you're working on a car like this. So that there is one side, and here is the other side. Are they different? Yes. Will they work? We're going to find out. We will get the car properly checked over by a mechanic afterwards to make sure it actually works the way that it should. Meanwhile, the fronts do have to be rebuilt completely, but we've got new pads, rebuild the calipers, obviously new rotors and shoes. And then over here, we're going to do a rebuild kit. So these are the fronts. We've pressed the pistons out. That is the old junk. We have new stuff there to go in. This car has just been, I mean, look at it. It looks amazing. It does look incredible. But it has just been way more work than we expected. I feel like that's the current catch cry of Mighty Car Mods, that what we're doing is way more work than expected. The GTR obviously was almost 5 years worth of work. This was meant to be a kind of a catch and release. Get the car in, change a couple of things, change the fluids, send it back out there into the world. But the more we work on it, the more we realise that most of it is junk. Most of it is garbage and we have to fix it.
The thing you need to realise with old cars is the awesomeness of the stripes that you see on the side of them is in direct proportion to the level of stitch up you're going to have to go through when working on it.
Yes, and considering we have all of the paint that came with the car, if you've got an old crappy car that you need to sell, you could just paint a little bit of livery on it like that. Like that's a home hand painted job, and I think he's done a great job. And the thing is, the car functioned. I drove it. It's not until you open Pandora's box that you realise it's not a box at all, it's a butthole, and it stinks in there.
The real good thing is, if your car has stripes like these, you don't even really need for it to be working because you've got 3 different brake setups on it and you can't work out which one you want to use. You can always just look at it on jack stands in your garage or your driveway with its resplendent racing stripes.
Exactly. It will start today, it will drive today, we'll tune it today, and you'll see it on TV today, because this is the time machine. You'll see it on TV as part of the best performing oils. Of course, nearly everything we've needed to get for this car, we've got through Supercheap Auto, their special order. Get on the website, search for stuff, get it sent to your house. That's what we did. That's enough yapping. Let's fix this shitbox.
When it comes to modifying cars, everybody loves chasing power, and of course that sweet, sweet boosty boy of spinning goodness. But here's the thing, if your suspension's flogged and your mounts are munted, all of that power means absolutely nothing. Now in our case, this Hilux is not actually going to make big power yet, but the same philosophy still applies. You want your car to be tight and confident like a fresh pair of socks, which is why we are changing absolutely everything we can on the front end. Now I know on the internet suspension is the unsung hero of performance, usually thrown to the side to make way for 2,000 horsepower Honda Civics, apparently, but what I'm trying to make here is a car that's actually livable and drivable day to day, which means new engine mounts, new components and new shocks. Once we've replaced all of the suspension components and we've got it dialed in properly, including an alignment, this Hilux will drive faster, corner harder, and may actually be a nice place to be behind the wheel. Now it's time to move on to the chaos that is the steering drag link and its associated wizardry.
Don't know what to say if I start to fade away. Will we be okay? Will we be okay? Now I'm home. Will we be okay? Will we be okay? Will we be okay? Will we be okay?
This here is the drag link that came on the car. Now the phrase drag link makes you kind of imagine someone linking up some drifts on a drag strip. It's not nearly that exciting, but it might be one day. Pretty much all of this is going in the bin and we've replaced it here. Now in the last 45, 50 years, this may have been replaced once at some point. Now it's been replaced twice. And this here looks like a fairly kind of industrial farm style setup that you might see on a tractor. How does this work exactly?
It's this kind of comes from horse and buggy days. This is how buggies in the 1800s steered. So the pitman arm that you're holding there, that's got a spline section that connects to the steering box.
Yep.
So as you turn the steering wheel,
and there's gears in there.
It turns the gears in the steering box, which turns that pitman arm. That moves the drag link left and right. Then you have inner and outer tie rods, tie rod adjusters, and you've got an idler arm at the end here. This connects to the chassis rail. The steering box is connected to the chassis rail, keeps it all centered, and you set your wheel alignment by adjusting you screw the adjuster in and out to move the front of the wheels in and out.
Would there be any reason at all why a modern car, like made since 2000, would require this, or is it just in the bin?
Sometimes it's space, just space in the engine bay. People are fairly shocked to learn that some really high-end, lauded performance cars like the BMW E39 M5, they run a steering box because there wasn't room to have the V8 in the front of that car with a steering rack and the steering linkages and all that sort of stuff.
So it's just a packaging issue?
A lot of the times it's a packaging issue. This is how cars steered for many years. It's basically the same setup as my Pontiac. You end up getting wear through all these different ball joints, and this is why you replace, more often than not, you replace the tie rods.
Yeah.
But we can still reuse a lot of this because it's still nice and tight. It's just there's slop in some of these ball joints on this drag link, so it's a good idea for the car to be safe for the next 40 odd years.
Yes.
Chuck some tie rods in it. But we can reuse the adjusters, we can reuse the pitman arm, we can reuse the idler.
Yep.
They're all fine. And the rest of it is just a bit of a safety item.
Because every time something here perishes, it's like 100 different people shaking hands, like a human centipede. And by the last person, it's getting quite sloppy because as each person moves into the other one, by the time it gets to the end, any looseness is translated
it's
and
a full-blown
exaggerated.
pelican.
Yeah.
And the thing is as well that there's grease in some of these joints, so the grease will get old. You've got a lot of force coming through the wheels. Every time you turn the wheel, this is a commercial vehicle, so every time they chuck a load in the back and drive down Mount Ousley or whatever to go get a delicious Dapto dog, the force through the front wheels just starts increasing all the load on these different joints.
A full-blown pelican.
Just going down to visit the Slippery Pelicans and getting a Dapto dog. What a day out.
I'm putting this in the bin.
This old junk can be relocated into the recycling bin, which means now we can install all of our new components back onto the Hilux, something that I'm very excited about. And speaking of excitement, my mate Benny, the mechanical Stig, has come back for another round of Hilux enjoyment.
Out of 10, your enjoyment factor?
Working on the car, like about a 5, but with you guys, it makes it about a 10.
Ah!
It's always a good hangout.
I'm shocked. Not at the 10, I'm shocked at the 5.
Nah, it's just old car things, like just 40-year-old grease and wrong parts and the usual sort of stuff that always happens with old stuff.
It takes so long. Like, we've probably been working on this now for 5 days total.
Yeah.
And in that same amount of time, we could have engine swapped a Civic and turbocharged it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a slog for
But that's
what
the
may be
thing-
perceived to be a limited benefit.
The thing too is it's maintenance. You feel like you're getting net zero out of it because it's like the car drove before and it drives at the end, but it is gonna drive a lot nicer. So it's valid and worth it, but it's almost like begrudging maintenance versus modifications. It's like you always get that nice feels with the mod side of it.
Yeah.
But the maintenance is like, I just wasted $5,000 on making it drive nice, but then you actually drive and go, it actually does drive a lot nicer now. So
Yes. Yeah.
it is worth it, but it's more for the in-seat appeal, I guess. Like visually, there's nothing's changed. It's not actually any faster. So
The front brake calipers have been completely disassembled and cleaned in our CRC parts washer because one of them was seized, and now we're going to be restoring them with a caliper rebuild kit. This saves us having to buy new brakes and is not a huge job to do. Over time, these parts can wear out or crack, particularly any rubbers, so we're going to be installing new seals and pistons, which will be paired up with new lines and new rotors, which will ensure we've got smooth braking that actually works.
The sump plug was leaking, so I've changed the washer now to like a more fibrous one, and we're going again. But overnight, the other night, we did lose probably, I don't know, half a litre or so drained it all out and we're going again. Probably not a bad thing anyway to give it a little flush, but here we go again for take 2. Old car things.
If the sump continues to leak after this, well, that is going to be a bigger problem. Next up, we can replace the sway bar bushes. When these are worn out, the sway bar can move around too much, which reduces its ability to do what it actually does. So a set of white line bushes are going in. The old ones also can squeak, clunk and rattle, and generally just make the car feel a bit loose and old, which decreases steering predictability and driver confidence. Upgrading these bushes is a really cost-effective improvement, even when you're retaining the factory sway bar like we are in this case. And of course, if you want even more improvements, you can install an aftermarket sway bar. But now, back to our leaking oil problem.
I thought the issue was the sump plug washer. It's still leaking, even with that changed. So that means that it's actually a bigger problem, and the bigger problem is that there's something wrong with our sump. How do we fix that? Well, we can try and repair the sump, or there could be some other ways, and we're going to explore those other ways shortly because we really do need to get this thing on the road ASAP. This oil only just went in a couple of minutes ago, so we're going to recycle it. Still nice and clear. So we're going to have a look, see if we can repair this or alternative methods.
You know, the funny thing is, even though this is the world's best four-wheel driving channel, just forget for a second that this is a two-wheel drive Hilux, but this is not the kind of car that I'm used to working on and not the kind of car that I'm naturally drawn to, and that is exactly why I bought it. Working on new things that you don't understand is usually the best way to learn new stuff, and that includes spinning spanners on cars that you're not used to. If you love JDM classics, try working on an Aussie V8, and if you love Euro turbo wagons, go work on a motorbike. Or if you're into lifted, rugged four-wheel drives that you can drive 8 days a week just like we do, then go buy a Honda Civic and learn for yourself just how disappointing VTEC really is compared to turbocharging. You have to get your hands dirty in unfamiliar territory, and if you need someone to help you out, find your local mechanic or car enthusiast group, and if they're into a specific kind of car and you want to learn about it as well, you'll be surprised at how many of them are willing to share their knowledge. You never know, you might end up being really passionate about something that you didn't even know you'd enjoy until you tried it.
Desperate times do call for desperate measures, and putting thread sealant on your sump plug is not something that has Benny's endorsement. He's the actual mechanic. That said, he's the one that told me to do it. So what do you do?
If you need to get it done, you need to get it done.
After trying a number of sump plug options, we've resorted to thread sealant. Hopefully this will keep the oil where it's got to be. And while that's drying, we can get back to installing the front brakes. These brake lines are completely flogged, cracked and way too hard, so they're getting replaced with something that's a bit more wobbly.
The problem that we're having here with this car that is making everything a battle is that the end of the brake hard lines there, you can see that at some point someone has tightened that up too much. So what it's done is it's actually flared that top part out. Now it's flared out to a point that now will no longer fit inside the new brake lines that we've just installed. So I'm having a bit of a struggle on this side. Benny's also having a struggle on the other side. And yet to work out a solution, or maybe.
Do you have a little belt sander?
Yes,
An air one?
it's the 1970s.
An air one. That's why I said an air one.
Nope.
File it is, I guess. I'm just going to file this.
I've got files
Yeah.
in here.
File this under disk.
See that says files?
Yeah.
We can use that.
We'll see in 7 hours.
Now we have a little clip that says 7 hours later.
While I started filing away, Benny decided this was time to enact his one chance to use a power tool.
Have you not had your one
I
turn?
haven't had my one turn yet.
Come on, man. There's a file. A file does the same thing, just slower.
One turn, exactly.
All right,
We've
have
only
you?
got 12 minutes, otherwise we're going to lose the shop.
Okay, this is your one chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Then the weirdest thing happened. The mechanic that was allowed to use the cordless power tool was able to quickly and safely fix our hard brake lines. So keep that in mind next time you or your mate has the bright idea of not using power tools because you think it was better in the olden days. Meanwhile, the rear brakes continue to be an absolute nightmare, so we're moving on to installing our new clutch master cylinder. This is a relatively inexpensive part that can be changed in under 10 minutes as long as you're a contortionist. Hopefully it'll give us better clutch feel and prevent further leaks, which can damage other components, because this is filled with the same kind of fluid that's in your brakes and that can be corrosive.
The front end of this Hilux is complete. Brakes are done, suspension's done, done the fluids, of course, multiple times. It's now no longer leaking, which is amazing. We just changed the clutch master cylinder. The front's great. Very excited. Brakes are in. Wheels could go back on and it could get an alignment. Rear end of the car, not so much. The problem is we don't actually know what drums are on there. We don't know what car they've come from. It feels like there may have been some bush mechanic kind of stuff going on sometime in this car's past. Both sides are different. We've tried ordering stuff for different models to see what things can fit. We haven't been able to find anything that fits yet, so that is something that still needs to be investigated further. The other option is to just replace the whole rear end. The reason why I don't want to spend a whole lot of money doing that is because if the next iteration of this car is making some proper bulk power, then the rears would probably be getting replaced with a kind of a disc conversion anyway. So yeah, I want it to run and I want it to work, obviously, like this for a period of time, but right now that is not the case. So that is something that we'll investigate and get back to soon.
In excellent news, Benny's found a replacement for our driver's side rear drum brake assembly for just $250. We were previously quoted $1,500 for both sides, so this is a win. We don't know if we're matching the correct factory side or if we're matching the incorrect part, but at least both sides will be the same. But of course, being this Hilux, there's bad news too.
So the good news is that Benny has managed to find this replacement part. Where did you find this from, Benny?
Friend of a friend. I was digging around and he's parted his Hilux out and had all these bits lying around.
Okay, well, that's the good news. The bad news is that it doesn't fit. It's meant to be the same, but this here is longer than that there.
So that's like 608 millimeters.
602.
No, even less. It's like 599.
Okay.
So I think basically we just need to lop 10 mil off the end of that spline, because when you put this in and tighten it up, the diff gets very tight.
Yeah.
So it stops spinning and it's going to kill something if we drive it. It's just going to probably smash the centre out of the diff.
Do we have to do some special mechanically engineering thing to cut this off?
Yeah, we just use an angle grinder.
Like, as in a hacksaw?
No, an angle grinder. Because I've got an electric, like, plug-in one.
Have you used your tool yet?
No.
Hey, this is my one use of the power tool.
No.
Yes.
No, it's not.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm not
You have?
I'm not cutting an axle with a hacksaw, bro.
I'll help you.
No, you can have an extra go with a rattle gun or something. I need to cut that with a grinder.
Okay. All right, so, I mean, look. If I don't see it, I guess it doesn't count.
Cool, put some earmuffs on too so then you don't hear it either.
All right, let's do it.
I'm just going to blur this shot. Yes, that is better. And now I can try and convince you that this was definitely cut by hand with a hacksaw. And with that little nip and tuck, it is now a perfect fit, which means we can strip it down and finally reassemble the rear end, which means we'll be able to have this Hilux finished and back on the road. We finally finished rebuilding the rear brakes. The last thing to go on is the actual brake drum, and guess what? It doesn't fit.
So this here is the new wheel hub assembly that Benny managed to source. Now we've got a new wheel cylinder in there and new brake shoes as well. The problem that we have is now that this back end of the car here is actually comprised of multiple different cars of which we don't exactly know where they're from because we're just visually matching this with what was already on the car. The downside to that is that we ordered a whole brake assembly of replacement parts, including like this brake drum, but the brake drum that we ordered is for this car. This is not actually from this car. It's from, we still don't know where it's from. We don't know how that exists, where it came from. We just matched it so that the brakes can actually work. So while these shoes here that were on there before, they were actually damaged, so they had to go anyway. The rest of that we can use. The drums themselves, this actually does fit and it is serviceable. So I'm going to give that a proper hit with CRC rust converter. You can see that when I put this on like this, that goes and seats. And this one here, if the car had the right brakes, it will actually go on, but you'll see the back lip is a little bit too fat and it doesn't actually go past there. So that there is the correct item for this car. That there is not the correct item for this car. So it's been a very, very big job. And unfortunately, these brakes have really slowed us down. See what I mean? Thank you.
For now, we're going to clean up the original drums that we've already got on hand. Eventually, this car will probably get a rear disc conversion, but this will get us back on the road.
This is my hustle, power and muscle, no fear in my eyes. From ashes we rise, opposition don't faze me. Look how they made me, they look at me crazy, but I'm built for this crazy. Countdown and we blast off. Let them see me with the mask off. Tell them I'm here when they ask y'all. You know it's all gas when I pass y'all. Applying that pressure, we gon' raise the stakes. The only way to separate the real from the fake. We always show up, boy, nobody's safe. Beating on my chest, I was raised by the apes. Catching every breath with each step. One wrong move and this could go left. Gathering every ounce of my strength. Keep on moving, let's go to full length. Don't ever doubt me, it's unlikely that I go out without fighting.
Now the awesome thing about hanging out with awesome people like Benny who's a real mechanic, unlike me just hacking my way around things, is he's got lots of wisdom. I went to take this off and he's like, no, you got to do the fill plug first. Why is that so, Benny?
I always take the fill plug out first because if that, for whatever reason, doesn't come out, old oil in the diff is better than no oil in the diff. And the other thing is, it actually drains a lot better when you've got the fill plug out because it just breathes really well.
Yeah.
Whereas if you pull the drain plug out first, it'll like sort of get that surging and then it'll pull air and then it'll surge and pull air. So it takes ages to actually drain it. So it's just much quicker if you're trying to get stuff done quickly, it just helps out.
Yeah.
And then the other thing obviously is you've still got oil in the diff.
Yeah.
So if you drain that and then have no way of putting it back in, big problem. So can save you on a weekend. And this is exactly the sort of thing that happens on a Sunday arvo. It never happens at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday, right? So you're trying to get to work on a Monday morning. This could be what stops you going to work.
Yeah.
As with most things on this car, we have no idea when the diff oil was changed, so it's always a good idea to put in some new stuff. This is particularly important if you're drifting, towing, or generally just driving hard. Luckily, these Hilux diffs are timeless. They're very epic, they've got a great reputation, and they've made their way into many modified cars. Next up, it's time to bleed the brakes. We're using a brake bleeder that relies on compressed air to bring the brake fluid through the lines, and we'll do this on each corner of the car. Next up, we can use the same system to bleed the clutch. And with that done, we can finally put the wheels back on this Hilux. It has been way more work than any of us had anticipated, but with the wheels on, we can give it a tune and then hit the road.
This was so much more work than I expected. You're used to working on some pretty old shitty cars as well, but I reckon even for you it was more than you had anticipated.
Just a lot of fiddly stuff. The rear brakes were the absolute killer of this project. Like just, even the very end, the rear drums were different left to right.
Yeah.
Just fought us every single step of the way, but we finally got it sorted.
Yeah. Pretty exciting that the car is so close to being driving again. It still does need a little carby fiddle, so it needs a little road tune, which is for Isaac to do. Then I've got the little air filter cake thing that goes on top of that. But all in all, ready to give it a drive. So let's now get that carby finished, and then this project will be complete. Thanks, by the way, Benny, for coming down and saving the day with all of your mechanical wisdom.
Thanks for your Hiluxness.
Thanks, Benny.
Isaac the Carby Whisperer is back to get this Hilux completely finished. The adapter plate that we originally ordered has arrived, so we've decided to use it as we have to remove the carby anyway to install the new throttle linkage. This is a universal throttle linkage kit that requires some modification to the original Hilux throttle cable assembly to adapt it to fit our Holly 180 CFM carby. Isaac has already roughly jetted the carby for its size and our Hilux engine displacement, but it may need further adjustments down the road if it does require any jetting changes. What he can do now though is set the idle mixture screw for optimum idle speed and ensure the electronic choke is functioning. With all of that done, we can throw on the new air cleaner and this Hilux is ready to hit the road.
All right, people, that is the Hilux. What a mammoth build that ended up being. Of course, way more time and effort than any of us had expected. And probably compounding that was that we couldn't actually use any of the normal tools that we used, other than everybody getting their one hall pass, maybe two occasionally. I do want to say a massive thank you to Isaac for coming down, and to Iain and to Benny as well. I literally could not have done it without them. And you will now be able to see this car right now on the new Supercheap Auto Best Performing Oils campaign. There's a link up there. There's a link down there. Check it out. It was a whole lot of fun. And if you need anything for your car, you can check out Supercheap Auto's special order service where you can jump onto their website or go into store and order all sorts of stuff that you can get for your car that may not normally be things that you can find in the shop. Next episode, I'm going to take it for a drive. Marty's back. I'm going to take him for a little romance, a little bit of a picnic, take a guitar, have a little fire. We're going to see how it goes. Hopefully it goes well. And then very soon you will probably see another iteration of this car. There are a lot of fun things planned for it. Thank you very much for following this series so far, and see you next time for the first drive of the Toyota Hilux.